Can you hear me again, please? Are we together? So please, I do apologize for all the technical challenges that we have faced throughout from yesterday up to this time around. We have been facing just series of challenge, and I don't know. Maybe we have some people that they are not interested in part of this class, so that is why they kept on haunting my devices. Right, we begins with light network issues, and today is audio, which we have spent almost about 30 minutes trying to just configure out what is happening with our audio. Please, I do apologize for that. I'm sorry, and so sorry for that. Let's quickly jump into action of what we are trying to do. We said we are going to deal with our practical manual. That is how you are going to be able to at least go about filling your practical manual, not just filling the practical manual, but also what you need to understand on the practical manual. So we will not waste a lot of time. Please, someone should drop on the platform that the audio is back, so that we can have at least a number of people coming back, because we are only 17 in the house out of almost 400 plus. So if we can be able to at least assist and drop, tell your friend, tell your colleagues to come back, please. So part of what we are going to be discussing on this practical manual has no difference with the material I dropped with you this early morning. So almost the same thing. If we see we have precaution in whatever we are going to do, just the same precaution with what we are having during practical session of physics, same thing with biology, same thing with chemistry, same thing with agri. So also the same thing if you are taking part of this computer troubleshooting and maintenance, you also have precaution that you need to adhere to. And the first one we said is what the ESO, that is electrostatic discharge. So you should be able to understand that these components you are dealing with them, no matter what, they still retain some certain electrolytes into them. So as whenever you are trying to repel them, you see you can at least connect two cable in order to repel the discharge. And also you should be at least be able to wear a shoe. You should not just go into the practical session barefooted, because if eventually a system is connected, you can be shocked through the still electrostatic discharge that is attracting through the tiles in the laboratory. So also they want you to use at least a flip head screwdriver. This flip head screwdriver is nothing but rather this screwdriver that can be able to attract they are having magnet that you can be able to attract your screw shoe in case if they fell down in a hole. So these are kind of screwdrivers that is recommended for you to work with them. Also, you should keep your component away from moisture. So if you have any liquid or a moisture area within the laboratory, so you should be able to keep away your component away from such moisture. And you should also avoid using pressure while installing components. So if you're fixing components, you should not apply force in fixing those components. You need to follow them gently. You fix them gently so that your components will not get damaged. So these are some of the equipment that you're going to work with them in the laboratory. We are quickly going to move to the first exercise and see what is required of you to do. But before then, let's look at this. Let's observe this motherboard very well. This is our motherboard. If you look at the motherboard, we have many components on them, ranging from the CMOS battery slot and the sort bridge, the AGP slot, the PCI slot, the not reach which is heatsink of your ICs, audio, LAN port, and what have you. So you need to study these components very well before you begin to answer this. So in number 1 exercise, you are asked to provide the tools required for cleaning up your computer hardware. What are those equipments that is required of you to clean your hardware with? In the previous sessions, while we are discussing about the troubleshooting procedure of your system, so you can be able to use that air pressure, and you can also be able to use methyl squirting, cotton, and what have you. So these are some of the tools that you are required to use them in the laboratory during cleaning up your computer hardware. We are only 14 on the platform, and 14, the number is not something to avoid. So what we are saying here, we move back. So these are the equipments that are required of you to use in the laboratory in order to clean up your system. So going by the exercise number 2, we have you need to identify the major component of a computer system by physically opening the desktop computer. So you are required to find any desktop computer. You lose the computer, and now you identify the major component of this. What are the major components? If you can be able to identify something like the hard disk, right, the memory, the CPU, the power pack, and what have you, these are the major components of a computer, major component of a computer system once you lose them. So again, going forward, we also have those components you have identified. You need to state their functions. Like for instance, if we take hard disks, right, or SSD, we know that these is used to store data permanently on them. The CPU is used to control and manage the operations of the system, consisting of the both ALU and the CU, that's arithmetic and logic unit, and the control unit. So again, we have another exercise. You need to state the function of each component of the motherboard. So aside from this major component of the major component you have identified there, so what they want you to do in exercise number 4 is to state each functions of the components on the motherboard. So the components you've been able to identify, you state their function each. So that is for exercise number 5, and it's exercise number 5. So this is where you have a lot of work to do that is required of you to identify the slot. Now you see there is going to be a confusion here. There is difference between slot and then a port, right? So if we are talking about the slot, this we are talking about slot of the PCI, that is a peripheral component interfacing. We are talking about the AGP. We are talking about the ISA. So these are the slots that we are talking about them. But if we are talking about the ports, we are talking about the LAN port, we are talking about the audio port, we are talking about the printer port or USB port. So all these are ports. While not only in this practical exercise, for your own benefit, you should be able to at least identify, at least you should be able to memorize few of these both slots, and then the both slot and then the port, please. So that is for this number 5. And in number 6, so this is where the slot is. You should be able to identify the slot on the on the motherboard. So that is for laboratory work number 1, sorry. So in number 2, let's look at what is expected of us to learn in practical number 2. We should be able to at least independently assemble a basic desktop PC from scratch. That means we're expected to have a very loose system that all the components are in loose. So we should be able to couple them back, that is assemble them back. That is what is expected of you to do in number 1. So you should have hands-on experience on how you can be able to install this component, like the CPU, the RAM, the HDD or SSD, and any other additional hardwares that you can have. So you should be able to know how you can install them here. So please, those people, the 54 we are having, please can you kindly drop your matric numbers, independently, because some people have just came in and say hi, they left. So if you can hear me, please kindly drop in your matric numbers. So, and the third one is you should be able to connect your cable and then peripheral correctly and then securely. You should develop troubleshooting skills. So let's quickly move down to the exercise and see what we have in the exercise, please. And then we move. So this is the exercise. In exercise number 7 under lab 2, we said we need to boot up a PC and complete the initial setup process. That is after, right? So you should be able to document this. It's an improved version of BIOS where you navigate. So here you navigate. So here, what they want you to do, you should be able to identify this BIOS or UEFI, which version of it are you using, and you study the key feature of the BIOS, please. So study them very carefully, and then you come up with the features and the version of the BIOS you are working with, and then you study the operating system you choose to install. You should be able to state the version of that operating system. What operating system and which version of operating system are you working? Is it Windows 10 Pro, Windows 10 Starter, Windows 7 Starter, Windows 7 Home, or what? So you should be able to state the Windows you're working and the version you are installing. So any error or any challenges you have encountered during this setup, so you should be able to at least state this. So you should be able to at least state these challenges you have encountered, and then you state how you've been able to rectify or resolve. Then the last one on this exercise, the key hardware component detected by the system. That is when the BIOS is running up before you been navigate to F10. So when they are swiping up, they are rolling up. So what are the major components have you seen there? It's been detected by the BIOS, ranging from the processor, the RAM, the storage, ranging from the processor, the RAM, the storage, the LAN card, the LAN card, the VGA card, and what have you. So you should be able to at least state those hardware components. So that exercise is clear, I guess. So and then this exercise number 8, still under lab 2, we said what are the factors that you need to consider if you want to upgrade your PC for better performance. What are those factors? If now you are going to be looking these factors, if your PC is performing very slow, like the RAM, maybe the RAM size is low, you are having a lower RAM size, so you need to upgrade to a higher capacity of RAM. That is one factor probably. And then hard disk drive, also if you are having a lower version, you need to upgrade to a higher version. So all these are factors that you need to consider while upgrading your PC. Then what are the preventive steps should you take in order to ensure the longevity of your PC? This has to do with update. You remember our update, usually we conduct our update of the system, being the software, being the drivers, being any software update that we are going to embark. So we are embarking on this update in order to prevent our system from developing faults. So you can probably have software update, drivers update, backup of the system. So if you do backup of the system, so you can be deleting some items and have so many free spaces and conducting disk defragment and what have you. So these are some of the steps that you can take in order to enhance the productivity of your system. And then what additional software or hardware could you add in order to customize your PC? Has no peculiar answer to that, because each and every user has its own peculiar need to the software and then to the hardware that they want to add in order to enhance the system. Probably now, as I have I faced this challenge of sound, I try to look for my which is external sound card in order to see how I can be able to fix that. So you see now I have customized the functions of my PC in order to enhance the productivity of this sound. So also in number 8, so in number 9 we are saying you should be able to list the tools you use in assembling the system. What are the tools you use? Probably you have screwdrivers, you have bowels, right? These are some of the things. They are in the note and they are also on the material. I should not be listing them all so that you cannot. It's not compulsory you get 100 over 100. Still, some people will still fail because they will still go and copy and paste. They will still go and use AIs in order to get these answers. But all you need to provide these answers is to a physical interaction with any PC available. So, and in lab number 3, this is hardware troubleshooting, and it's expected of us to identify the physical signs of improper assembly. So what are these? First, cable components, or we have a or a thermal paste, that's a solid white stuff that they used to place in between the fan processor and the processor itself. These things. And now let's look at these errors. These are some of the errors that is being picked up, and most of the. So if your system has no beep, you did not hear any sound of beep, so being power is going to be like either the beep is very short, or there is no power on the system, or the CPU is faulty. Are you together? So, or the CPU is has a slight loose, it's not tied to the port. So if it can be able to be, so that is you have CMOS error. That is your battery, your CMOS battery is decaying, is dying, is aging. Problem with your motherboard. There is problem with your motherboard, so you need to beep, 2 short beep. Are we together? That is that. The other one is one long beep, and then one short. Then this one is one long. It is 2 short. It means you are having video problem. So 1 long beep and then 3 short. It means you still have that video problem or video issue. Are we together? So again, this how this. So exercise number 10 now. You should be able to detect symptoms you observe when attempting to boot the PC. What error message if we are displayed? So if you're displaying a system, if you're turning on necessary, you should have a problem. All what they ask here is that you should be able to be observed, right? So you observe the system, whether any error or has any beep sound. If it has beep or if it displays any error message, write the error message. Try to state the error message it displays, and then state that you don't have issue. And then based on your observation, again, what are the most likely components causing the boot failure? So this is open context, right? Whenever you actually cause the computer boot from abnormal to make an abnormal booting. So in what order will you patronize troubleshooting the suspected component? So at what stage will you take any suspected component for troubleshooting? So you should be able to state it, but to me, at that very particular component that is trying to display an error. So what were the biggest challenges you faced during troubleshooting? You should also be able to state. So in number 4 we have where we have the local area network, wide area network,